Hey there friends, it's Cassie and welcome back for another Trinity Stamps video. Today we're going to be making some Halloween tree cups using the mini cup add-on Rainbow Hugs, and that's what the die set looks like. This is the original, this is the mini cup sleeve and decor, and they kind of go hand in hand, so that's why we're going to be using both of those. And then we're also going to be using the Slimline Boos because anytime I can use this little bad boy, I will. So I'm going to show you what I went ahead and cut out ahead of time. I cut out some strips like the little rainbow using 3 different colors. Since these are Halloween treat cups, we're going to be using some Halloween colors. I did cut this one piece from the mini cup sleeve and decor out of some Sizzix permanent tape, but that did not work, so I will show you what I do. I cut out the sleeve from the mini cup sleeve and decor using 3 different colors. I also cut out the little scallop border and various other pieces from the add-on. We've got some hands, we have the ears, we have a horn, we have 3 hearts. We've got all kinds of pieces from this set that we will compile together to make several little treat cups. I have some plans for these. So here's where I've discovered, and I'll show you how I do it. I'm going to take some 2-inch Scor tape and cut that to be about the length of this copy paper. And you'd want to use some sort of real lightweight paper, and then I'll run that through my die cutting machine. Again, that piece comes from the mini cup sleeve and decor. And then I'll peel off the release paper and I will start adhering all my little rainbow pieces down to this piece. This for me is the easiest way I've found to actually get them all adhered. And again, another tip would be to, when you cut out your strips, make sure they stay in order. They will decrease in size as you go from top to bottom, so to save yourself a little bit of time trying to figure out which one goes where, I highly recommend that you do your best to keep them in order as you pull them out if you're planning to use different colors. And then you can just work your way down the line. Now, would you absolutely have to have this piece from the original mini cup sleeve and decor? Maybe not, but just for ease, that's why I'm doing it. And I use the lightweight copy paper because then it's just a little bit easier to wrap around my cup. And so I'll just work my way down using those 3 colors. You could absolutely, just do any kinds of color combos you wanted, and you can save your extra pieces or just keep making these for as many cups as you needed, and you'll be good to go. I love how these little mini cups come with all these little pieces. They come with a tiny lid and a tiny little stopper. And so we'll use all those. And all I'm doing right now is kind of working my way around the cup, just seeing how it's going to fit on there. I do apologize. I'm going to go ahead and apologize now because there are a few times that because I'm working on something that isn't a card, I'm out of shot. So I'm going to do my best to just stay in shot. But I'm using liquid glue. You could use something else, but I found that this Nuvo Deluxe glue works really, really well, and it dries pretty quickly. So I'm just going to, but it also gives me a little bit of wiggle room. So I'm going to just put that around the cup, and I'm going to hold it for a few seconds, just making sure that it's not going anywhere. Close up my glue and kind of look at the pieces that I have and decide what I want to do. So I'm going to grab out one of those purple hearts. I thought that this was just a simple way to decorate it. And I'm going to grab the sentiment Boo from the Slimline Boos. And I'll ink that up with some Memento Tuxedo black ink, and I'm going to stamp that all over that heart. And we're going off the heart, we're going all around that heart, but we are staggering the word Boo. To make it easier on myself, I went ahead and started with Boo right in the center, and then I'm working my way out and around. So I just found that it was the easiest way just to stamp it first right in the center, and then I could work my way out. I'm going to put some little foam squares on the back of my heart. And then we'll peel off all that release paper and we'll adhere this to our little cup. And that's going to do it for this little cup. This was super, super fun. I can imagine you can crank out a bunch of these little treats and fill those up with some jelly beans or some M&Ms or whatever little kind of thing you want to put in there. For our next one, I'm going to do some stamping on there. So I have this inside of my Misty, and I have the Slimline Boos lined up on my door of my Misty. Now what I'm doing, I don't recommend. There was no need to put it inside of the cutout piece. What I recommend is actually just taping it down to your Misty using some repositionable tape or maybe even some purple tape. But I inked that up with some Versamark ink, which is just some clear sticky ink, and I'm going to just stamp that down, making sure that I have a good stamped image. Thankfully I do. But I'm going to cover this with some fine detail white embossing powder, and then those little ghosts are going to pop right on that purple cardstock. So once that's good and covered, I will heat set that till that is smooth and melted, just using my heat tool. And you'll know that it's good to go because it goes from a matte finish to a shiny finish. And then we're going to do it again on a white one. And so here's what I'm talking about. I'm just going to put some purple tape down, and I am going to ink this up using some VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. I wanted to make sure that this was good and crisp. And I also wanted to emboss that with some clear embossing powder because I knew that that would make those little ghosts shine. So I stamped that down, and then now I'm going to cover it with some fine detail clear embossing powder. I didn't use a magic powder bag or anything like that on this one just because I didn't really care if the embossing powder stuck to other areas. It's clear, and I wasn't going to color on this, so I thought that this would be just fine. But I did use a magic powder bag on the purple one. Now I've got a couple more hearts, and we're going to use the sentiment that says "Hello, Boo-tiful." And I'm going to heat emboss both of these, but I'm going to put magic powder bag just on the purple one. I'm going to stagger that sentiment. I'm sure you noticed that sentiment is bigger than my heart, but we're just going to partially stamp. So I stamped "Hello," and then I'm going to clean that off really, really well, use my ink pad and stamp "Boo-tiful" right underneath it, and then we'll cover that with more of that fine detail white embossing powder. And then we're going to use a reverse tweezer to hold that so I don't burn my fingers. And then we'll do the same thing for the white one. Again, you just want to make sure that you're cleaning off your stamp in between. So once again, we'll pull out that VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink, and I'll stamp "Hello," and then clean it off really well, and we'll stamp "Boo-tiful" right underneath it, and then we'll cover that with that clear embossing powder. And then we'll heat set that till that one is smooth and melted. I did have some powder that showed up, and so I'm just wiping that off with a dry brush. And then those will be ready to be adhered. And once again, we'll go through that same process. We'll use some liquid glue to adhere down our little sleeves to our cups. And these are just so fun, and they're cute and tiny. They don't take up a lot of space, and you can really put in some fun little treats inside of these. I cannot wait to give these out this year. I'm telling you, these are so much fun. These will be fun to send to my nieces and nephews if I wanted to, or just give to my daughter. It doesn't matter. People at work, these are just really, really cute. And then I also decided on this one, I wanted some little black ghost hands to come around this one. So I'm kind of manipulating that to see how that's going to look. And then we'll glue down our heart just right to the front of that. And hold that in place for a second while that glue sets. But I like using the liquid glue, like I said, because it gives me a little bit of wiggle room. And then here we'll cover the entire back of the little hands with that same liquid glue. And I like this because if it does seep out of the sides, it dries matte, so you can't really see it. It's clear. And then I'll wrap that around, and then we'll just hold the little hands in place. And I love it. I just think it's so cute. And then we have a little lid for that one as well. And then we'll go ahead and do the same thing with our purple one. You can tell I messed up on that back part, but it's all right. And then I'm going to put some foam tape on the back of our little white heart. And then we'll peel off all that release paper, and we'll adhere that one to our purple. Moving on to the green sleeve, I am going to do something a little different here. Bear with me, I had this idea. So I've got some Forest Moss Distress ink, and we're going to sponge that all along the bottom, just kind of bringing that up, kind of ombre-like. I wanted to use the little unicorn pieces for this because I thought, wouldn't that be fun if it was like a little zombie unicorn? I imagine I've got a niece actually who would probably be all over that. So I thought that would be kind of fun. We'll just make it a little zombie one. And so we'll put our piece right onto our cup because all I wanted to do was just a little sponging on that one. And I think the best option might be to adhere that first before you start adhering your little unicorn pieces. And I'll just use, again, that same liquid glue. We'll put the little black pieces in for his or her ears. And then we'll get ready to start assembling all those pieces right onto the cup. I'm going to use just the bottom scallop on the bottom as well. And then we'll adhere all of our other little pieces, making sure not to cover the area where the lid is going to fit. So check that, keep checking that. And then now I have to put the little eyelids on there. So we'll put those on with that same liquid glue. And then there we have this cute little zombie unicorn cup. But it needed something more. I wanted it to be a little bit more girly. So I'm going to grab out some glossy glaze. I'm going to put that all over the horn My suggestion here is don't go too heavy with it because it does need to dry, and as it sits, sometimes that glue can move. So I was putting on a little bit thick, so I actually had to hold this for a little while and keep turning it, otherwise there would have been globs towards the bottom as that glue moved. So don't go quite as heavy, and you'll know it's good to go when it starts to go from that milky finish to a more clear finish. And then I'll go all around that scallop. I just thought that was just very, very fun. And I did want to take it even one step further. So I pulled out some Lawn Fawn chunky glitter, and I have a coffee filter, and I'm just going to pick it up with my fingers and sprinkle it on in the areas that I want it. I don't want it all over the horn, although that would have been cute too, but I do want it all over the bottom portion. So I'm just sprinkling that all over the bottom portion. And I went ahead after I did this and decided I'm going to make a card to go with it. And so let's show you all of the little cups that I made today. I think they're so much fun, and these really were very quick and easy to make. So there's the third, and there's the fourth one. And then here's our little card that just matches. And I pulled out the Hello Boo-tiful die and just cut off Boo. So we've got their little card front as well. So there it is. If you liked this video, please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And be sure to check out all of the Trinity Stamps places you can go, Instagram, Facebook. There's lots of inspiration to be had. And as always, I will see you very soon in another video. Bye, everybody.